Oh, hello everyone. You should be able to hear my voice and see the shakedown as I pretend to be cool and calm and collected, as if my compression ratio is legal. But really, I'm panicking because I've had to give Matt Trumpets my boom arm, and I am holding a boom arm on the ground. Hopefully I sound okay. Let me know in the Discord when you can see us or when you can hear us. I remembered to unmute. It's a beautiful Missed Apex car. Look at that. See if we can spot people's names. K-Pad on the air intake. Missed Apex on the side pod. That wouldn't fit on the Aston Martin side pod, would it? Ha 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 ha. They have not left enough room for some cooling. Haha, hello. I think it should be coming. Let me know you can hear us and see us. You should hear some engine sounds. Here we go. Or do I need to press X for doubt? X mode and straight mode. Okay, looks like we're there. Hey guys, Spanner's here. Not quite ready, but this is the pre-show. So we're going to take a little bit of time to get going today. Matt is in my house. He has the only working boom arm, so I'm holding my microphone, which will mean things like getting to the cough button or switching scenes so you can't see that we've already gotten ourselves into a lovely single malt. The stream will tell tales on us because I have to switch hands deftly. So yeah, that's the kind of thing we're dealing with. But if you're watching on the pre-show, then I'm zoomed out. You can see, I got away with it there. There is a lot of clutter. Directly behind me is the Christmas decorations that have eventually made their way upstairs, but need to go in the loft in the studio and currently piled up behind. But yeah, if you're watching later on, you can click in the description and there'll be like a blue time thing. You click on that, you will see that spinning car, that glorious spinning car, and then we'll go into the show. But yes, I am joined in the car, in the shed. Oh gosh, I don't think I've even done my thing here, my scenes here, by Matt Trumpets. Hello, Matt.
Hey, there's Banners.
Oh, you're gone suddenly. Oh, hang on. No, that's my fault. Hello. Try saying hello again.
Hello. Did
Hi.
I mispronounce it the first time?
No, I had the line down for the music coming in. So you're in my wife's studio where she actually streams from. Not like publicly, but she goes into loads of schools. So she'll do like 8 schools at the same time. But yeah, you're in England with me. We have had a lovely afternoon together, haven't we? Haven't we, Matthew?
Glorious afternoon. I've learned an entire new sport.
Yep, fader up, or volume up. Level up, I think.
Bink,
yeah.
Bank, boonk.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll say that. Stuffey's here as well, but we'll... Hey, Stuffey. Hey, Scott, how's it going?
Hi,
Now,
everyone.
before we talk to Matt, we should yell at Scott for what Scott is wearing. You uncover your torso, sir. We can see what you're wearing. Come on. Come on, Scott. You're down as Kyle or Chris at the moment. Why are you in a Red Bull top? What's going on?
Because I'm an Isaac Hadjar fan this season.
I thought
It's a new look. It's a new look Red Bull. The toxicity.
It's gone, isn't it?
Has gone.
This is not. You're saying this is not your father's Red Bull, is what you're saying.
Exactly. I feel comfortable to wear this now.
How do you spell Stuffey, by the way? I'm putting it on the thing.
STUFFE.
Yeah.
Double Y.
Double Y.
2 F's, 2 Y's.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
We got you now. That's all right. There we go. You're there, and you've got a rum and coke. And you said to me, "Can I give away what you said to me?" Scott said to me before the actual proper show starts, "I need time to top up my rum and coke," and I really do need to.
The missus is out tonight. I was always going to leave early from work.
Yeah.
The day job to get home to pick up the little one.
Yeah.
However, my train line.
Oh my God! Another train nightmare.
Delayed.
No.
Unfortunately not. An emergency services incident. However, my train line has a number of them per year. I've never experienced as many on this train line before. I don't know what it is. I won't go into detail onto why. But it just throws... Where I live now, there's only kind of like 2 routes to get home. Otherwise, it's really long. So basically, it took me... What should have taken me half an hour to get home took me 2.5 hours to get home. Plus, picking up little one and putting her to bed and doing all bedtime and everything. A rum and coke has been very much needed, and I'm looking forward to the stream ahead. So.
I love bedtime though. Bedtime when they were little, like you will miss it.
Yeah.
Because my son it stays up later than us. We're like, lock up before you go to bed. And my daughter, she just wants her chill time. But a story time with the kids was one of the most fun times, like, in my entire life. Yeah.
She's not there yet. So milestone moment.
Oh.
She's now walking. Last weekend.
Ooh, she's at 16
she
months.
started to walk. Yeah, she's a bit of a, as I said, she's a big girl. She was
Well, let's not hang on. Let's not body shame your daughter.
No.
At
I'm just saying,
16
no,
months,
she's
yeah.
like a,
She
she's
like
tall.
hangs out like the 90th percentile, 95th percentile.
She
like
was
that kind of
born
thing.
over 90th percentile, and the last time we got her weighed, she was 96th percentile.
Right.
So she's always been. We don't know how, because the missus didn't have exactly a big bump. She was
Matt's
taking
still
up
too low.
all the real estate.
Okay, I will fix.
But yeah, so she's compared to the other girls, the other kids in our like NCT parental group.
Yeah.
She is one of the last to walk. She's not the first. She's not the last fully to walk. But yeah, it's taken her a while.
Yeah, because she's having to carry round like a
Yeah,
lot
exactly.
more. Yeah.
Rule of thumb is, I think, from what we've learned, is the lighter the child, the quicker they move.
Yeah.
And the heavier the child, the slower it is for them to move. Because well, in our case, that was the lightest child in the group has started walking months ago. But no, it's really cool to see. Like when I put her down now, I'm still expecting her to fall to her knees and start crawling. But she's like proper solid on her feet and walking around. So yeah, that's really cool to see. But yeah, today I was just like, oh, I'm just. She was tired. I'm like, I'm tired as well.
Yeah.
But a few rum and nothing but a few rum and cokes couldn't sort
Well,
out.
the thing is, when you're a parent and you've done a full day's work and then you've done all the parenting, you know, especially like you always end up as the solo parent at some point, and then you go right, finally I can rest, and then the last thing you want to do is rest because you want your time.
Yeah. But the missus is out tonight. She's out with the work lot, so it's just. I don't know. It just always seems to be that whenever
she's out a lot. She's out a lot. I feel like every time I speak to you,
that's why she likes her work. That's why she likes her work. She's got a social life, so she's got more of a social life than me.
Oh.
But then again, I'm not saying I let her go out. Of course, I let her go out loads of times. But she's able to go out tonight. I went, yeah, you can go out tonight because obviously we're out tomorrow. So
right.
I'll stop for the karting event.
A lot of couples like argue over, you know, you should be going out. I do have to point out to my wife, I've never even slightly objected to any plan that she's ever had. But she'll still always ask me like, Rich, is it okay if I... like? And then I'll go like, no, I forbid you. Then what? Then what happens if I forbid you?
My
what
missus
happens?
is like, by the way, I'm going out. And I'm like, all right, cool.
I guess. But it's like,
I'm like, happy days.
How would you ever react if I seriously objected to your plan to go out? She'd just punch me in the face, I think, at various points.
Exactly. It's like...
He would ignore you.
Oh, you sound better. Well done, Matt. That's good. You've got that
It's
level.
like when they say, do I look good in this? Or do I look fat in this? Are you ever truly going to say your true opinion?
No.
Because I will say it in a roundabout way, but I prefer her in something else. There's a way to present it. But
I prefer you more covered up. That's why you got in trouble. You shouldn't have said it like that.
I prefer the second option.
The less of
than
you
the first
I can
option.
physically see, that maybe a hat would be appropriate. No. So actually, we have the reversal of this.
Diplomacy.
My wife absolutely hates when I ask her how I look in something or if I look like I've gained weight. So
Can't imagine why.
We are a little bit reversed. We're like, I'm massively the insecure one. And so she's very secure in how she looks. She's like, yeah. And the reason...
She knows she's good. She knows your punch.
She knows what she... Well, the thing is, right, so she never gets jealous. And like I say to people, I think it's because she thinks that no one else would have me. I think she's perfectly like, oh, bless him, he's trying to cheat on me. He's not getting very far, but bless him. But yeah, so she's the more secure one, like looks-wise. And I'll go, do I look like I've gained weight? And she goes, well... perhaps you haven't lost weight. And I'll be like, and I'm like crying and everything. She's like, fine then, I won't tell you. But yeah, and also she's not particularly tactful. So I put on loads of muscle and last year, maybe like 10, 15 pounds of muscle, which on my frame, it really shows up. And I'm asking like, how's it? And she doesn't like it. And she'll just go, well, it does make you fat, just look a bit fatter. Like you're not seeing any muscle on that bit. But you've bulked up there, so your fat just looks fatter, and you just go. And now she just refuses to answer any questions. I'm like, honey, how does this shirt look? And she's like, no, not telling you. I've said to her, like, you could say it's not a flattering cut, perhaps. But then we've used those up because she started using that one too much.
Yeah. have to mix up your terms enough so
yeah.
it seems fresh.
Matt, you were very kind and you brought me a single malt whiskey, which is my absolute favorite drink in the world. Thank you so much. Cheers.
You're welcome.
So we're drinking single malt while Stuffey is on his rum.
Yeah, I'm going to top up before we hit the full, before we hit that transition into podcasting mode.
That's gorgeous. So
that was a good choice, wasn't it?
It was very good. So it's not what I would normally have. I love a single malt. Oh, by the way.
Oh, you feel the burn?
The afterburn. I was not expecting
Keeping
that
you warm?
afterburn. So I like the peaty ones from the Highlands and Islands, and they tend to have a sort of a sharper initial taste, but then you don't get this sweeter one. What's
question?
Yeah.
What age did you get into whiskey? Because I feel like I'm not there yet.
Yeah, no, probably 34, 35.
So I'm in that range. I am there then. I am at that range.
You're approaching that.
How old are you?
I'm 34.
Oh, gross. Yeah, but your partner's not 34. She's way younger.
No, she's 30.
Oh, no, I would not have picked that. Just pass that on. Like, we would not have picked
that.
I
know. She still gets... She is actually annoyed by it. She's like... if she doesn't have her ID, she's quite lucky, to be fair. She doesn't have her ID. I'm not saying that she looks really, really young.
Yeah.
But I feel like she looks her age, maybe a little bit younger, but she does say... It's annoying when she gets ID'd for when she's trying to buy a bottle of wine.
You'll miss it. You'll miss it. You'll miss it when it's gone. The last 4 or 5 years, I've stopped being ID'd, and every single time I'm like, oh.
I get an inquisitive. I mean, I quite like it. I mean, I get an inquisitive look when I don't buy a lot of alcohol, but when I mainly use like an energy drink when I'm buying a Monster.
Oh yeah, they want ID.
Because you have to get ID. You have to look over 25, and I get a real inquisitive look from the women who are on the self-service. They're like.
You're just having
Are you?
little
and I'm like, I can grab my ID if you want. Like, I'll happily get it out of my wallet.
Sport. Let's talk sport. Me and Matt, we've just come back from the golf range, actually. So we deserve this. So we've done tennis and golf today. And so I'm going to compliment Matt on both of them. Firstly, tennis. Matt has never played tennis before. And I had booked a mixed doubles for today, and one of the guys dropped out. So Matt was happy just to go to the gym and spar and sit it out. But because we had a male spot open, and I was like, right, Matt,
Turns out I'm male.
I was like, can you hit a ball? Right, we'll just try and like make it work. And he said, fine, I'll give it a go. So I've bullied him a bit. And then we get there, and he goes, like, have we got time for you to give me a tennis lesson? So like literally from could not get the ball either over the net or much too far because do you play tennis, Stuffey?
No, but I've always been. I've been fond of badminton and played badminton, but no, I played tennis a couple of times when I was younger, but not.
I honestly think tennis is the hardest one for a beginner to pick up and be effective.
Oh yeah.
And so, if you don't shape your shots, it's very frustrating because you either whack it and it goes long, or you thump it into the net. And to be like Matt's credit, I didn't really. I know you're a natural athlete. I didn't realize you were a natural sports person as well. And so we just did full fault finding on his shots. No, you're swinging this path and your racket is at that angle. Come this path, change your grip, get a shape going to your shot so that we got him with the top spin going early. Just picked it up.
Oh.
Yeah. Struggled with some of the faster shots when you've got less time. But Matt, honestly, like your top spin forehand, immediately, boom. I'm like, hell yeah.
I do think though, and I had someone mention this to me I remember it in school when I played badminton. They went, oh, do you play tennis? And I was like, no, I don't. I said, the only other sport I play is golf. And I think with tennis and golf, there is a slight crossover with the hips. So if you look at the impact, at the point of impact, it's all about driving the hips through and like leading with your lower half.
Yes.
And
so
it's very similar with tennis
had a breakthrough
and badminton
moment.
and stuff. So
we had a breakthrough moment with Matt. Yeah. I suddenly went, I said, oh, hang on. Make sure you're moving your weight from the rear forward as you're doing that. And then he suddenly clicked and went, oh, and it went, and then we went to, so he was good. And we ended up playing another pair and we won. We were victorious. We were able to tactic around the vulnerableness of the new person. And our opponents were ruthless in exposing his literally his first ever game of tennis. But we were victorious. We go on the golf range. Altogether another story. So you're not joining us for golf on Saturday, Scott?
I'm not, unfortunately, but we do need to link up at some point with golf. Yeah, for sure. Like get Summers involved, get a good 4-ball together.
So
like,
Scott is
maybe a bit more.
You're proper good. Like, what would you play off now?
Well,
if you could?
I used to, as I said, I used to be a pro. I used to coach the game, and I really enjoyed it and loved it. I used to be towards like scratch, and then now
I don't want to play. I don't want to play with Scott anymore.
No. But there's a difference now. I play maybe once a year. Because it was such a big part of my life for so long, now it's not.
So even Matt and I on the range, like we know we're not hitting as well as we used to 10 years ago. So it's a little bit like the pressure's off. In a way, it's disappointing, but in another way, it's like, well, it doesn't matter because I know I'm not going to zing a 300-yard drive.
Yeah, no, you got to know your limits. You got to know what you can and can't do.
And we're older as well. Like the machine just doesn't.
There's limitations. It's the same with all sport. You get to a point where you just have to play within yourself, and that's the thing with golf, and that's how I coached as well. Is I was teaching people who are brand new beginners and never hit a golf ball before, and people that could hit it 300 yards, and people who were 60, 70 years old. It was really
Matt's
interesting
60.
to see.
Matt's 60 next year.
Are you, Matt? No, you're not.
He is. He's 60 this year. This year, he's 60.
5 months.
You?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not even 5 months. What is it? 3?
I mean that in like
4 months.
I didn't think he was anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Do you know
I will take that as a compliment.
Do you know what's depressing is when I met Matt, I was like, this guy is old as hell. Like, what the hell? Like, he's so old.
Always.
You're like the Gen Zers now. And have you seen those TikToks where everyone's like, what year was you born? And you say anything with 19, and it throws up something from the Victorian times.
No, or
like,
dinosaurs.
And I'm like,
dinosaurs.
And I'm like, excuse me?
So, but here's the really shocking thing is at that time when I was like, oh my God, this guy's so old. Matt was 45. He was my age. So
exactly
it's like,
your age now, yeah.
Or maybe you were like 46 or 47,
That's how long you've been doing this for then. Wow.
And so I'm like looking across at Matt and going, oh God, if we double that, the time I've known Matt again, that's what I'm going to look like. Jeez, you look like the painting in who's the guy who has a painting?
Portrait of Dorian Gray.
Yeah, Dorian Gray. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that if he looks at it, he'll age.
Steve C in the chat. I can drive the ball 300 yards, but I can't do anything else. There's so many guys like that.
300 yards. If I get in the golf for show. First.
So the guy we were playing with is 32 or 33. He has a solid 300 plus drive. But he and I score roughly the same. So like my drive is like 240, 250, something like that. It's all in the short game. It's all in the short game.
As I say, drive for show, putt for dough. If you can't, it doesn't matter how far you hit it. If you can't get it in the hole, doesn't matter.
We've got a situation where like there's some holes like a dog leg. So there was a dog leg right 370. I hit a 6-iron into the dog leg. He hit a fade like 310, 320. But we ended up on the same score. Yeah.
Where are you playing?
Colchester. Oh no, we're playing in Bedford or Milton Keynes.
We don't know. Do you have recommendations?
I've played Colchester golf course before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would like to play with Scott just to see like how.
No, we will.
I would love to.
When Matt's next over, even before Spans, we can link up because it's.
Oh, there's also a Grand Prix that we might get you on crew for as well, Scott. So you'll have a chance to come out with us.
Whenever we're next all together, we'll definitely link up. I can't promise I will be the professional and as the player that I used to be.
A shadow of your former self.
I will show glimpses of it. This is what I used to be like. Yeah. Right, I'm going to top up my drink.
Yeah, go chop up your...
Go. I was going to tell the story of... I still remember playing back when I did... Actually, when I met my wife, playing Sarasota Opera, one of the big draws was you're in Florida in February. And so golf was all-consuming.
Yeah, I'd love to play Florida.
Went to the range, played all the time.
Because I've been hanging out with Meg Schuster from The Ringer in London, and her parents, I hope this isn't telling tales, her parents have their like holiday home in Florida. So all her golf is in Florida. And I'm like, oh, God, I would love that. By the way, Steve Amy, our producer, hey, Steve, says you're all bloody young. You're all so bloody young.
Well, yes, we kind of are. But anyway, I made friends with the two guys from Scotland. One of them They were from near Oban, I think. One of them was over visiting, but the other one actually was a golf coach at a college. And he had a British PDA card and was a teaching pro, like a serious teaching pro. And we went and played around at this really challenging, hard Arnold Palmer layout. And watching him play golf, I'm like, this is not the same sport that I'm playing at all. Not even in the slightest. Like, just ball, middle of the fairway, middle of the green, one putt, maybe two putts. I saw him get in trouble once. Drive went a little funky on him and wound up behind an object. And I said, well, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do now? He's like, oh, well, I'm going to take my 1-iron, because I think he had a 1-iron. He says, I'm going to play a
1-iron?
He says, I'm going to play a really hard draw. I'm going to aim over there, play a really hard draw. And it should end up right around the front of the green. And then he did exactly that.
With a 1-iron?
Yeah, it was like
Scott, can you hit 1-iron?
Yards.
I can, yeah, but I've never had one in my bag. There's no need to have one.
Well, the old joke is, isn't it? If there's a thunderstorm, you put your 1-iron in the air, because not even God can hit a 1-iron.
Yeah, that's the joke. And then
you don't want to drive an iron, really.
It was like, oh, well, it was a very minor inconvenience in my day. Watching him play was just like, it was just a masterclass in what being that good at something is.
Scott, can I confess, and we'll get into the show just now, but my tactic now as a 45-year-old man is I'll give the driver a go off the tee, and then generally it's just hybrid, sand wedge, putt. That's it.
It's. I always said it's numbers, not pictures. It doesn't matter how you get it round. It's what goes on the scorecard. And
it's not sexy. It's not sexy. My putting's got better because I zone in on the putting now. But yeah. All right, let's get into the show. It can't be all golf and tennis chat. But well done, Matt. After doing all of that on a flight, after a flight day as well. So I think when you fly from the US to the UK, you basically lose a night's sleep.
Yeah. So I haven't really slept since yesterday. Yeah.
All right. Let's get going.
Should be entertaining.
Teammate battles predictions. Here we go. You are listening to Missed Apex Podcast. We live F1. Welcome to Missed Apex Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Reddy, but my friends call me Spanners. So, let's be friends. Tonight, we are going to look at all the teammate battles across the F1 paddock. And yes, that is 11 teammate battles. Who do me and the panel think will triumph in those head-to-head battles? Because honestly, in the career game of Formula One, beating your teammate is almost the most important thing in that sport. Going forward, you will be judged by how you did in those head-to-heads. So we're going to dive in by saying hello to Matt Trumpets, who is in my house. So if he sounds different, that's because he is in my wife's studio. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Spanners. It is fun to hear your voice in real life before I hear it over the Zoom call.
Yeah. Can you hear me like actually through the doors, or you can?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
Just mildly. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, that's his voice getting to me acoustically before it gets to me electronically.
I can't wait till we get to Ocon and Bearman as well. I think that's going to be my favorite topic today. But we've also got fantastic new ones like Bottas versus Perez to dig into.
Oh.
Yeah.
Battle of the Icons.
Yeah. We are an independent podcast produced in the podcasting shed with the kind support of our patrons and partners. We aim to bring you a race review before your Monday morning commute. We might be wrong, but we're first. Now, I'm not even sure if I want Stuffey on. Look at what you're wearing. Scott, Stuffey Tuffey in his Oracle Red Bull travel teamwear.
I know. Listen, I'm an Isaac Hadjar fan this year.
Well,
for those who are listening, who aren't watching on the YouTube and the live video, I do have this year, for the first time ever, a piece of Red Bull merch on. And that is because this is a brand new Red Bull.
Yeah.
I would admit, Max Verstappen, I have softened to Max Verstappen over the past season, as most of us have. I'm a massive fan of Isaac Hadjar. Corner's gone. Marco's gone. Mekis has come in.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm secretly rooting for them because I think all of us would love to see a Russell and Max Verstappen fight this year. So, yes, I do have a bit of Red Bull merch on, which I think is maybe the first time ever anyone has had this on the podcast.
Fun
is this
fact.
The first ever?
Fun fact. No, because I've got a Red Bull. I've got a Red Bull shirt, but also I've got a Red Bull air freshener that Matt saw in my car today.
True.
So they've hired Mekis, they've hired Hadjar. Like, who are you trying to be? You trying to be Williams? Is that what you're going for?
I know, right? So looking forward to this season, and they just announced a record extension with Oracle as well, increasing the amount of money that they're going to receive from that partnership. So,
oh man, I get you're like, I'm a Hadjar fan, and also like I think everyone has been on board with Hadjar, but Red Bull just has a habit of churning the drivers I like through the wood chipper. So like Gasly, this is Gasly's shot. Oh, darn. Oh, but it's okay. It's gonna be Checo. Checo's he's been rescued. His career will rise again. Tsunoda. Ugh.
It is a different Red Bull though. I do feel that. I think like we'll get onto it with the probably. Well,
let's do it now. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
Let's start with
Should
our
we go
team.
Red Bull?
Yeah, with our teammate head-to-head predictions. Let's start with Red Bull. You've got to think that this is the easiest one. No one is betting their house on an even money bet on Hadjar to beat Max Verstappen in the points table. Is Isaac Hadjar, Scott Stuffey Tuffy, is Isaac Hadjar the next log in the chipper? And the reason I slurred that is not my fault. Matt brought single malt whiskey to my home.
Guilty.
No. I think he will be beaten by Max because Max is very adaptable, one of the best drivers, arguably the best driver on the grid. I do have concerns about whether his interests will be fully in F1 this year.
Did you say one of the best drivers on the grid?
I followed it up very quickly. Probably the best driver on the grid.
Max Verstappen is the best current driver on the grid.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So it's, look, at the end of the day, Max is going to beat Hadjar. However, no, I don't think he's going to be the next one for the chipper. I think this is a brand new Red Bull. As I said, Mekis has come in. I think with VCarb as well, I think they will give Lawson and Lindblad the whole season before they then assess who will be maybe maintaining that seat.
You sure? I think there's
I am, because Marco, I think if anyone has paid attention to the interviews recently, Horner, and also the news stories that came out with Marco and how he was managing the whole junior program. I mean, apparently, look, let's take Horner's, and I very much am, I don't want to take this at face value, but let's take Horner's comments recently at face value, right? He said the promotion of Yuki last season into the Red Bull seat instead of Lawson was Marco's decision.
Okay, are you quoting the media quoting Drive to Survive?
No, it was from a Times article that Horner did with. So it was an article that Horner did with the Times in the UK.
So that does come up in the Drive to Survive episodes that come out the day after.
Well, you've seen
this.
it. Well,
yeah. To be honest, the only reason I mentioned this is to flex that I've seen the whole of the Drive to Survive season.
Not all of us are a beloved Netflix personality who gets early access to Drive to Survive. So,
but Matt, Alex, and I will be on here on Sunday, and we're going to talk about like the things and the stories that come out of that.
But going back to it,
yeah.
And I'll let Matt get in and have his point, is that I don't think Hadjar is going to be the next one for the ringer. I think this is a very different approach. It's a very different Red Bull, and I think they do want to do things differently. And I think they will give their drivers time if there is certain struggles. And I know obviously while Max will still be the number one driver, I don't think even Hadjar is under the impression that he is
not sure
going to get that equal treatment.
Not sure about that.
You think? I think Hadjar knows he's not the number one driver. He probably feels like
he had made comments last year. I think he's been told that you're not going to get disadvantaged. I think he thinks that.
Really? Well, maybe to start off with, but I think he knows it himself. This is Max's team. He probably even feels like he didn't want to rush his development last year as well. When there was talk about him being promoted, he's like, no, I want to take my time.
Please no.
Exactly. But I think Hadjar will have a good season. And if I think he even has the potential of winning his first race this year. I really do. I mean, maybe that's the positivity in me thinking that Red Bull are going to be able to provide some circuits a race-winning car. I don't think overall they're going to challenge for the title, but
so you are okay. We know no one is picking Hadjar over Verstappen for like points total, but you're calling race wins for Hadjar. I think
there'll be one.
I think that is a massive call. I think that's a Matt.
Yes.
I think what Scott is saying is a massive long odds call.
You think that Hadjar being in that place is right. So here's my thought about that.
He's good.
I was talking in the chat about it, but I think you're correct insofar as we're not going to have an Albon situation where you're 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 updates behind and just essentially being run as a data mule for Max. I think that is over and done with. I think
if you're right about that, in of itself would be huge news.
Yeah, but I'll tell you why is because they're making their own power unit and they don't have that guarantee of being able to make a car that's so good Max can essentially one-handed win something. You know, so the Constructors' Championship comes into it. Ford is now a big partner. So that matters more. That's also where the money is. And plus, if you look at it, you know, there are times where Max, when he had a teammate near him, benefited strategically from that. So all around, it's a good team move to keep the drivers closer together. But I will say, neither one of you brought up the very obvious R word here, reliability. Yeah, we're saying there's no way Hadjar beats Max, but what if Max's car is the one that goes boom 3 times and Hadjar's doesn't? How does that change things? I don't know, but it could change things.
That'll be the case for everyone up and down the field this year. I think while we've seen in testing very good reliability, let's be real, everyone's sandbagging, I think. And I think once these drivers and these teams start to run these engines at peak performance, we'll start to see some nuts and bolts come loose. But I think what we'll see, and Matt touched upon it there, I don't think Hadjar is going to be 2-3 iterations behind. He'll be 1 step behind in the upgrades. That's what I think. I think actually, especially with the power unit, and Spanners, you've touched on this with power unit partners and how Mercedes have done this with Williams. VCarb is 100% going to be used as a test puppy for the power unit.
They literally got used as the test bed when they were Toro Rosso for the Honda power unit the first time around.
Exactly. So this is 100% what's going to happen this time around. And that's why that battle with Lindblad and Lawson might be something that is more affected by the reliability than anything else. Because if there's any gremlins that are going to appear, it's going to appear in the VCarb side before it is the Red Bull side. But no, I think this is I have low expectations for Hadjar this year, but I think, and I said it last year, this is the best time for any team.
He would get a race win.
Low expectations against Verstappen. But I think this is the best time anyone could
just
be going
predicted
alongside Max Verstappen in a Red Bull team.
You just said top step of the podium, champagne, glory, and then said low expectations.
Listen, yes, because I still think, and I'm positive about this season, Spanners, I think we're going to see multiple race winners this year. I don't think it's going to be one team, 2 teams just dominating. I think there's going to be reliability and stuff.
Matt, come in, but Pete Shilcock says, I think Stuffey's shirt may be having an effect on his personality / assessment. Matt.
All right. Yes, I agree. If there's only enough parts for one car, Max will get those parts. I don't think anyone is going to be surprised by that. But I also think they're not going to give Max 4, 5, 6 generations of updates and not give that. The other thing, very small, very technical point I'm going to make about the power units, they are all the same. They can't give RB experimental power units and blow them up to learn things. What they will do run them in different parameters to see what they can get away with without blowing up the Red Bull
Can't they give VCarb a experimental new engine?
No.
I think isn't it just the iterations that have to be the same?
No.
You sure?
No, the homologations are by year unless you qualify for additional update and operating a duo, whatever they call it. Unless you qualify for the additional stuff, it's the same engine and they have to make all the same stuff available to all of the teams. They actually changed this rule a little while ago, but what they will do is run the RB cars on experimental maps and parameters to see what they can get away with before Red Bull does that. And that I do agree with. They will definitely do that.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thanks for clearing it up, Trumpets. I was going to touch on as well in relation to why Max will be ahead, but why Hadjar, this isn't a bad year for him, is that if you are Red Bull, I think what they've done previously, which is wrong, is that they haven't looked to the future. There is conversation all the time about Max's future. Is he going to stay in the sport? Is he even, if he does stay in the sport, will he even stay at Red Bull? And there comes a point that you need to, as a team, as a business, to have as everyone has a business plan, they need to have their own plan for their drivers. Who will be their next number one? They've got a junior program, they're bringing through, they're developing all these drivers. If they don't bring one of those drivers through to be maybe the eventual replacement for Max Verstappen, whether it be when he decides to leave the sport or leave the team, that's not a return on investment, is it? When it comes to your academy system. So
Scott, you could just go and get
Lawson, or Lindblad.
Just get Leclerc. Like if Verstappen leaves, just get Leclerc.
No, I'm saying, yeah, no, that's one option, but also you need a return on investment on your junior system, your junior academy. Like they probably have more juniors under the Red Bull flag,
Scott,
than any other team out there.
Scott,
so no, but I'm just saying from a business perspective. Like, so Isaac Hadjar, so your second driver, they're not going to completely favour that number one driver, I think, anymore, as much as they have been with Christian Horner and Helmut Marko was doing, because they can't. If Max decides to halfway through the season go, nah, I'm not having it, I'm not having fun, let's go, I'm going to focus on my endurance racing and the Nordschleife and so forth. Who have they got to replace him?
Scott, can I just hit you with a statistic? Okay,
go on.
There have been 2 Red Bull world champions. Do you know how many junior drivers there have been? 87,000.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying is that it's a new Red Bull. It's a new approach. It's a new look. That might have been okay for the previous ownership, but now the whole power structure has changed, and Horner, who was there from the very start of Red Bull, is no longer there. Same as Marko, and they may have a difference in approach.
I believe that they do, and I believe we will see it. And I think the difference is, how old is Max now? How clear has he made it? He's not going to 19. He's not going to stick around if he's not having fun. And if I'm Red Bull, the idea of simply having a second driver that is, again, a data mule, experimental platform that provides spare parts when Max breaks his, that has to be over, because we've tipped over that. It's like that tipping point. Oh, you can see Max at the absolute peak, but that also means you can see the other side of the mountain now, and there will be a day where there is no Max.
Miles off his peak. He's nowhere near his peak. We're talking about Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton was 38 before we started talking about maybe going off his peak. Max is 12.
I think he's a little older than that.
24.
But anyway, my point is, I think Max has created this situation, but the team itself being more corporate. And also come on, they're a marketing team. If you're a marketing team, you're like, could we give a kinder, gentler face to the world without causing too much trouble?
Yeah, look, I don't think anyone's going to disagree that Max is going to win that championship battle this year with, inter-team battle, with Hadjar. And where he'll finish in the championship, I don't know. I feel like I did my own predictions video, and I think he's going to struggle with keeping focus on F1 this year.
And where is that predictions video, Stuffy?
Well, you can slip that in there.
Yeah.
You can check it out on my YouTube channel at Stuffey. Link in the description in the show notes below. But I'm just saying, I think with Red Bull, if this season does seem to be a bit of a slog for him, I think his focus will move elsewhere. And then moving on to the other Red Bull side of the team, the VCarb, because I think
I don't want to move on to VCarb.
No, okay. I was going to try and move it on.
We want to stay with the top teams. I've not really got my out and out prediction for this teammate battle in. So for the record, I want to say that Hadjar will befall exactly the same fate as his predecessors. He is just the next number 2 on the block. He would be very talented in any other setup. I think he's already proved that in VCarb, but he will befall the same fate as Albon, as Gasly, as Perez. Steve.
Clip it. Everyone clip it.
Producer Steve, clip it. As Tsunoda, as Lawson. He is going to be an out and out number 2. He is there because they can keep saying, well, we're doing our best. We keep bringing these guys in. If you look at Drive to Survive, which I have because I've got early access, it becomes increasingly clear that they do not address that the number 2 driver gets different upgrades, gets no development input. The second driver is there because they have to have a second driver. And all of the second drivers, I believe, have brought money to that Red Bull seat. And I don't think that any driver has a chance to compete on an even playing field with Verstappen, which is exactly how I would run an F1 team.
I'm going to be very cynical here. Is your opinion here and this prediction just because you're hurt of the treatment that Yuki Tsunoda got last year?
And Perez and Gasly.
And Perez,
my biases are 1,000% are influencing my my.
I have to caveat it again with the context that last year, half of the season, Christian Horner and Helmut Marko were there. That was still the same approach with Red Bull. Laurent Mekies came in and he gave us that information in an interview saying Yuki is 2-3 iterations in the design and upgrades behind Max, which is what they don't want to do anymore.
Last year, Tsunoda would not have been able to say, I've finally got the same floor as Max.
Exactly. So it's, I mean, he didn't help himself by flipping the car over
one time
in Imola.
One time, like 9 months ago.
But I'm just saying, I think with this new approach with the team, at least I hope it's a new approach, Hadjar will fare much better than his predecessors.
Let's move on. I think we'll go with Scott. Scott wants to go to VCarb next. Scott, who will win the teammate battle at VCarb? Liam Lawson or Lindblad?
Liam Lawson. I think, and I know Liam Lawson doesn't actually have a very high grandstanding in a lot of the Miss Apex panel's opinions, but I actually rate him a lot higher than people seem to do. And I think Arvid Lindblad is definitely he's a talent. He's someone who's been very highly rated in his junior career. He's the youngest F3 winner ever, race winner ever, youngest F2 race winner ever. However, if anyone has actually followed particularly his career or his season in F2 last year, he made some I like to call them iRacing mistakes.
Oh, really? Like what?
Yeah, some very very, very big glaring mistakes of just locking up and going into the back of people, causing multiple pile-ups. Red Bull Ring was one of them. I think it was Monza as well. So there's some big mistakes there that I think he's going to have a career. I think he's going to have a season similar to Kimi Antonelli this year. And I think Liam Lawson's experience will just quite clearly shine through. And Lawson, I think, has not got enough credit for how he recovered from, no doubt, and I think it's quite documented, of the demoralisation and embarrassment of being dropped by Red Bull after 2 races.
Savage.
It was a savage demotion for him. And he did recover very well in the mid part of the season, had a good run of form because he was fighting in a VCarb, but didn't really get the recognition that it it deserved. So I think that's quite an easy one. But Lindblad definitely is a talent to keep an eye on, but he's the only rookie on the grid this year, and I think he's going to have a rookie season, some highs and equally as many lows.
Yeah, and a real rookie too, and a real rookie in a complicated, new, and difficult formula to drive. So, I don't know, you can always sort of wonder if just being that little bit younger, that little bit more Xbox, PlayStation generation is an advantage, but I don't think so. The way things sound now, this is an experience, a management kind of a formula we have at the moment, depending on what they change. So you would definitely give Lawson more credit there. And I don't know, we're talking a bit about Drive to Survive, but he was deputized at Toro Rosso, not Toro Rosso, but RB, VCarb, whatever they call it.
AlphaTauri.
When Ricardo hurt his hand, and I remember him like racing, getting points in Singapore, just like, and talking about being so nervous being on the grid. And I think he just has this affect that automatically turns a lot of people off.
Yes, right.
He's got like a bro affect. I don't know why.
He's a New Zealander. He's a Kiwi. I think what riled people up the wrong way.
Whoa. Are we?
No, I'm going to.
We're slagging off all of New Zealand.
No, because I like Liam Lawson. I think what riled him up the wrong way. Riled up a lot of people the wrong way is that he had a lot of self-belief when it came into the Red Bull seat.
Dude, I need to talk about his recent Instagram story,
maybe
by the way.
too much. And I'd admit, as a fan of his, he maybe had too much and he should have dialed it back just a couple of notches.
You're a Liam Lawson fan.
No, I am, because
this is new information.
Anyone who comes into F1 and rolls up Fernando Alonso in one of their first races, I'm a fan of, just for going racing as well. So, yeah, I like him. I think he's punchy, and he is one of the few that doesn't come from a very lucrative background. He's had to work his arse off up to F1. If you look at his background, Liam Lawson, he caught the eye of Helmut Marko when he was in the junior formulas. And if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be anywhere near Formula One right now, and his single-seater career would be over and done with. So I like a little bit the underdog story, and we don't get that often in F1, especially with it being quite, obviously we know how money circulates around the sport and how important it is. So, but yeah, I'd admit he should have dialed it back a bit, because it massively slapped him in the face after obviously it ending so poorly after 2 races last year. But he recovered really well.
Yeah. He did. Gasly did. Albon did. So part of being a driver, I think, is you live with the slings and arrows just as much as the successes. But no, his actual story, he was done. He was done in Europe. He was part of the Red Bull Academy, didn't really stand out, and had run out of money. So he went back to New Zealand, and they had a single-seater island series they ran. And in one of the races, he had very much like a Lewis Hamilton moment where he wound up being punted dead last, passes everyone and wins the race. And Marco happened to be up at that odd hour watching racing, saw it, and was like, when can you get on a plane and come back? So, yeah, I mean,
that's good.
I mean, you talk about a meritocracy. Well, there you go.
All right. And look, this is difficult for me because I would have declared myself a Liam Lawson hater, and I mean hater in purely a
villain.
A villain.
You have heroes and villains, don't you?
Yes, thank you. Good.
Well,
I call it goodies and baddies, and so I was putting Liam Lawson in my baddies category. However, because I saw Drive to Survive early, I can say that it did switch my opinion on him. I was like, oh. No, I think I get what this guy is about. And the self-belief point that Scott made is real. He has almost a beautifully naive amount of self-belief. He's like the anti-Lando Norris. But when the evidence is against his self-belief, he takes action and he goes, oh no, well, I couldn't do the thing that I assumed I could do. But, he picked himself up and he got back on with it. Like, this guy's definitely a fighter, but like even when it comes to his image, he is very confident and insecure at the same time. So you could see him, like when someone made a comment about his hair, he instantly felt not. I think the term is mogged. I'm going to use a full-on Gen Z term there. I think he was like, "Oh no, I've been found out, or I've been highlighted for trying too hard with my hair." And recently on his Instagram, he posted a clip of him doing like an acoustic guitar. Did I share that in the group or no?
You did, yeah.
I did.
I could watch 5 seconds.
Oh,
of it
it's
before I went, oh.
He needs PR help. Someone needs to help baby Liam, because like you're not Lewis Hamilton at 35, and then you get in a studio with Kanye West and who's he with now, Kim Kardashian, and then you get to lay down this like great little sneaky Easter egg backing vocal. No, Liam Lawson was fully in his bedroom, and he just went, "Now is the time to show the world that I can sing and play acoustic guitar."
To be fair, he did this last year, and
oh, did he?
He did a different song, and it was really good.
He's not good. He's not good.
No. Yeah, it's better than I can. But
yeah.
I would recommend, if anyone wants to see, and I think the best social media content out there is by far VCarb.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I'm just going to say right now, credit to whoever the VCarb admin is or social media admin is, because they really know how to get their drivers involved.
They genuinely bully Liam Lawson. Genuinely.
It is. And Liam's like, I don't know why I expect every single time this to be normal. But they have such a great relationship, and it really gives us an insight to like Arvid Lindblad's been getting involved as well, Hadjar last year, and Lawson, of course. I highly recommend everyone go check out their TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. They post it on all their socials. It's great to see.
Okay, so I would say, though, if we go down to raw teammate battle, I think Lawson is vulnerable to a rookie coming in with a lot of talent, with a lot of pace. So we're going to give Lindblad the normal thing we do of 6 months, because we tend to do that with new drivers and new teams or rookies.
2 years, but yes.
You with your 2 years. Oh, how long did Piastri get again? So, because he had 3 years now, 4 years.
We can head to McLaren afterwards.
Yeah, let's do McLaren next. So I think Lindblad, in testing, he looked just solid. Just did a bunch of laps. I think one day he set the record, didn't he, for most laps in testing with 167. So he can obviously drive around. And I think the most important thing for rookies generally is keep it out of the goddamn wall.
100%. And I think testing was all about mileage for Lindblad. It was all about him becoming familiar with how this car works and becoming comfortable with it. So mileage and laps was the main focus for him, no doubt. And maybe they treated Liam. I mean, Liam also equally. I don't think he did as many laps as Lindblad, but I think he equally did quite as many. So RB definitely have a very reliable carb, it seems, anyway. But for Arvid Lindblad, look, I think he's someone that I've heard mentioned a good few years ago, before he was even in F3, and that Red Bull rated him as highly as Max Verstappen, and that he was like the next best thing. So he's definitely someone to keep an eye out on. He's the only rookie on the grid this year. So it'd be interested to see how he gets on. I expect some flashes of that high expectations that we've heard about for many years, but equally, unfortunately, as many rookie errors.
Hard to argue with that. Reliability could go either way. And now I will briefly descend into a rant about the issue with the points. And if you look at where the preseason consensus is for RB, 7, 8, 7th or 8th best team, where they are right now. And it's indistinguishable from noise. You didn't hear that. It's indistinguishable signal from noise, because the points are like a lottery ticket win. You're not really getting good information, good data on how they do across a whole season, because the points only go down to 10th, and there's 22 teams now.
Is it?
So I think it's going to make these
11
battles.
teams, 22 drivers.
Is it 11? Sorry, Matt. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
22 drivers, yes.
Is it the? And this is something I need to, before the season starts. We only have just over a week away now. Is it the top 11 score points now, or is it still the top 10?
Top 10.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Okay.
Well, this is my point. So when we talk about these teammate battles, the problem I have with all of them is everyone will go, well, oh, they scored more points. Well, yeah, that can be at certain teams a pretty good value judgment, but they happen to have the car that didn't blow up the day that, Bottas took out the front 3/4 of the grid is also a thing that happens. And that's just a lottery ticket. So anyway,
yeah,
rant over.
No, I agree. I think when it comes to the end of the season as well, I think these team matchups are going to be, there's going to be a little bit more analysis involved, because as I said, I still think reliability is going to be an issue this year. If it isn't, then fair play to all the teams, but we can't just completely write off, as people like to do. They look at the final finishing position as a final barometer of their performance, but that's not the case. Like if someone's running 6th or 7th at the time and then their engine goes pop like that, they're clearly having a good race. So It's going to take, by the end of the season, even the halfway point of the season, when we're doing reviews and so forth, there is going to be a bit more of an analysis be involved rather than the final overall driver's standings, because especially with development as well, someone may get off to a really poor start because their car is absolutely terrible, Aston Martin, but then come the end of the season, they make some strides forward. So,
and let me just be clear, by start you mean the next 2 seasons?
Oh, well, I don't know. That's you're saying that, Matt, not me, but I think that's Red Bull and VCarb over and done with. Shall we head to McLaren? Spanners, what do you think?
I love it. Right. I'm just going to say it. I love this battle between Piastri and Norris. And I did notice, I don't know if you noticed it too, that Piastri is coming out and saying, oh, well, the papaya rules, they need to change. Not because it was ever unfair to anybody, but they just make things more complicated. And I don't know, did you get the idea that he was kind of being put up to that a little bit? Because I sort of felt like, for the most part, those rules worked more in his favor than in Norris.
I guess it depends who you ask, but I guess the big news in the past few weeks has been that McLaren have basically told Mark Webber to back the F off because he was causing issues.
Massive.
I get it. Mark Webber is backing his driver, and if I was Oscar Piastri's camp, I'd want Mark Webber in my corner as well. I totally get it. And it says everyone theorized, surely Mark Webber is kicking up a stink behind the scenes. And clearly he was. And Zach Brown has not taken too lightly to that and told Oscar that he needs to take a step away, which he is. He's still, I think he's still his manager, but he's not at the races as much anymore.
He's not invited to the Zoom calls anymore.
Yeah, he's not invited to hospitality anymore to get the free croissants in the morning. But the overall championship battle this year, that's what everyone wants to know. Who's going to come out on top? I don't know about you, and Spanners, you can lead on from this because I need to top up my drink.
Yeah,
I think it's quite simple, and I think Lando is going to comfortably beat Piastri this year for a multitude of reasons, which, Spanners, you can elaborate on first.
I think the Piastri train is done. I think McLaren were very under pressure to make sure that Piastri was getting a fair shake of the stick. and that will have been heavily influenced by an incredibly great arbiter for Piastri, which was Mark Webber, really fighting his corner, saying, yeah, he needs the same treatment. It can't be any different. That you cannot treat Vettel. I mean, you can't treat Norris any different to how you treat me. I mean, Oscar. So, to be fair, there was not evidence before the start of this season that Oscar Piastri should get equal number one status with Lando Norris, who has been part of Project McLaren for years and years and years. You're telling me, for real, for absolutely 100% serious, that the rookie Piastri, who came in and initially impressed because he has absolutely fantastic one lap pace, but then fell away towards the end of his rookie season, and then came in and had a similar pattern in 2024, fell away towards the end of the season, had one race win, which was an odd race win. It was Hungaroring, I think his first one, where he was in the lead and Lando Norris was gifted the lead by the pit stop strategy, and then very clearly demonstrated in that race that Piastri was unable to even get to the point where he could be let past by Lando Norris. If Norris had not been gifted that lead, Lando Norris was going to go and get that lead. So Lando Norris for 2 years was very, very clearly ahead of his teammate. Then suddenly in 2025, we had these papaya rules. And sure, Norris has to take some responsibility for messing up his qualifying. But every time I looked for lap times in the race for similar stints and looking at a drop-off, it looked like Lando Norris was generally the faster driver. And the main weakness that Piastri had was not shown up at the beginning of the season. So when Lando Norris was letting him race unopposed up front, 3 or 4 places ahead, he was not under pressure to maintain his tyres. The second the rest of the field caught up, he was getting 5th place, 5th place, 5th place. The second he had to push, he was unable to do those race stints. I do not see any case at all that Oscar Piastri can challenge Lando Norris in this head-to-head this season. In a dominant car where Lando Norris is messing up, Piastri can go and deliver that job. When he's having to push, when there's 3 or 4 teams all in the mix, no way does he get anywhere close to Lando Norris.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here before Matt comes in and he can elaborate some more for us. But I think I echo your thoughts there, Spanners, is that I think something everyone seems to be overlooking this season is the tyre management. Everything has been about energy deployment, recovery. But has everyone forgotten that tyres are still just as important? The aero design.
I think Matt's forgotten.
Matt has undoubtedly not forgotten. But
Matt is staring down his webcam like that. Stuffey, shut up. This is my moment.
But it's something everyone seems to be forgetting, is that you still need to have good tyre management. And what has everyone said about these cars? They are less aerodynamically sound. Yes, they're more fun to drive because the rear steps out a bit more, they slide a bit more. And I'm sorry, where was Oscar Piastri's biggest weakness last year? At low grip surface tracks. And what was the performance gap between Lando and Oscar? It was so dramatic that fans were saying on social media that they've clearly done something to the car. They've tweaked his car and so forth. No, it's just because Oscar, as much as I like him, and I like the way that he does go wheel-to-wheel racing as well, he's very aggressive and he's not scared to take it to people, he still has a fundamental weakness, and I don't think he's going to overcome it this season.
Yeah, the sabotage
will come out on top.
The sabotage that he allegedly suffered also completely matched how it had gone in previous seasons. So, like, wow, that sabotage has been... They stole him from Alpine just to sabotage him in exactly the same way for 3 seasons in a row.
And it's not... I don't know what people are going to say already. It's not a pommy bias at all. Okay? It's not a pommy bias.
Well, to be fair,
I've seen that in my own comments already.
Stuffey, speak for yourself. As an England cricket fan, I carry a huge a huge amount of Pommy bias.
But I think there is logic to this. That's the thing. And look, if Oscar Piastri, as he has done year on year, he has made improvements. If he does make an improvement this year and he does beat Lando fair and square and this weakness has been nullified, then fair play to the guy. But all of the evidence prior to this does give us the prediction that, yeah, he's going to come out second.
I'll bet you £1,000.
No, you're right.
So I love this topic, actually, because we're talking about tires. But you wouldn't be mistaken if you just sort of casually said, well, geez, if the drivers who are really good on tires, they'd probably be really good at this kind of racing anyway, wouldn't they? Because it's a very similar kind of a skill when you're trying to wrap your brain around it. And the thing with Piastri, we're going on his 4th year now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Lando debut season was 2019. He has a wealth of extra experience. And so if you are a Piastri fan, his potential, well, have we gotten there yet? That's an open question. There may be more room to grow. Lando, yeah, I think we are very, very close to the maximum he can do with the car that he has, and how that compares to other drivers is that. So I'm not here to demean Piastri as not being as good as Norris, because they're at very different places in their career.
No, but we have to pick who's going to do better in 26.
Based on the evidence, one, tire management will probably translate pretty well to energy management. Two, Norris is the better of the two of them right now, whether it's experience or talent. Feel free to fight that out in the comments. Yeah, you would tip Norris more than you would Piastri, but this is not a Verstappen-Hadjar kind of argument either. It could very easily turn against Lando on reliability terms or update terms, as we saw last season with the car they started with didn't work for him.
I think something that's overlooked as well, and I know he got massively criticised for it last year, but I think he deserves a lot of credit for it as well, is his mentality. The way that he was able to overcome the setback after Zandvoort, and how he ended up becoming a Drivers' World Champion, and it should have been a lot easier than what it eventually was if it wasn't for McLaren's DQ in Vegas and obviously the pit stop fiasco in Qatar. How are you not going to approach this season in a positive light? You've got a Mercedes engine in the back of your car. You're the Drivers' World Champion. You know really that you had comfortably your teammate in your back pocket in that last third of the season. I'm going to say the last third because that's really where it changed for Piastri and Lando's seasons. That's massively overlooked. Whereas Piastri's like, I've got a lot to prove this season. And if it doesn't get off to a good start for him, bearing in mind, there's already a lot of pressure on him, Piastri, in the first race. It's his home race. There's still never been an Australian, stood on the top step since, the 1980s, I think it was. I can't remember who it was who did it, if memory serves me right. But it's been but either way, it's been a very long time since an Australian's even stepped a foot on the podium. So that in itself, there is a lot riding on Piastri's shoulders and in his head mentally when it comes to the first race next week.
Ricardo?
No, he got...
Did he not get a podium at Red Bull?
He did, but then he got a penalty instantly for it, I think, if memory serves me correctly. So Ricardo never stood foot.
That was 2014. That was 2014.
Yeah, never stepped foot on the podium at Australia, which is crazy to say. Mark Webber, neither did he. So it's been a very long time. I think at least since I've been watching F1, which has been a very long time, before someone an Australian stepped.
Wait, hang on a minute. Didn't last year? Didn't Piastri convert his P2 running into a podium? Oh no, that's right. He got on the gas and ended up struggling to get out of the grass.
So yeah,
I'm not beating the allegations, am I?
But that's massively overlooked as well. And I think this is a perfect segue into
Nice.
Mercedes.
Do it.
Matt said about drivers who have been good on their tyres, people who are good on their tyres will be good on their management. I think that leads us into Russell versus Kimi Antonelli for this show.
Nice. You could do radio, Stuffy. The more tenuous, the better. Yes, Mercedes. So we have George Russell versus Kimi Antonelli. George Russell is the massive, massive bookies favourite at like £1 to a million. So you will not make good money betting on George Russell. However, he does have a teammate who featured heavily into Drive to Survive, which I know all about. But he has a teammate who has shown flashes of talent throughout the year. And Matt, I think let's be consistent. We have always given rookies 6 months. We have always given people who move teams leeway.
Yes. Just to learn the new systems.
We know that George Russell values the political battle within a team. George Russell knows that you have to beat your teammate first and foremost. That is his main aim. Antonelli in Drive to Survive, which I've seen, which you may not have, but he said that George Russell was the perfect teammate, very encouraging. Oh yes, come here, little oyster, come dine with me, is what he said. But if Antonelli becomes a threat, Russell will hone in on Antonelli as a target. So to assess who will win the teammate battle between George Russell and Kimi Antonelli, I would like to factor in heavily whether Antonelli performing would rattle George Russell and whether he would change his tactics, because Russell did not have to consider that in 2025. Matt, who is going to win the Mercedes teammate battle?
Well, if you're being sensible, it's Russell.
I don't want to.
It's a runaway. But if you want to be controversial, and I will say this, the difference is Antonelli is probably, unbeknownst to many people, one of the best rain drivers. There's a couple. Max is good. We've seen Lewis be good. We've seen Ocon be good. But I mean, like, good at a level of just like, oh no, like normal humans can't do that in a car. I went to Silverstone 2 years ago, coming up on 3, I suppose, and saw Antonelli win the sprint race in what I can only describe as a torrential deluge that had the safety car out multiple times. And when he came by after the race restarted, he was miles ahead of everyone. He's got something. He's got something that's that special. I don't think we've seen it at Mercedes yet. I don't know if they've been able to unlock it. I don't know if they'll even unlock it at all, ever. But if they do, yeah, he'll beat George Russell. I'll say it now.
Oh, that's a very bold call. I don't think Kimi will beat George. No, I think George is someone who has improved year on year. And you look at last year, anytime that Mercedes had an opportunity to win a race, he won it. He maximized that car last year. There's a reason why the meme was, oh, George Russell does nothing and he ends up on the podium. Yeah, because he's doing the best that he possibly can out of that car. I think, for me personally, if Lando didn't have the recovery in the second half of the season that he had, George would have been my number 2 driver of the year last year behind Max. I think he had that good of a season. And I think this year with Mercedes, I think he is ready to fight for a world title.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
yeah, Russell
definitely
can fight for a title.
And I think I think more of the question is whether he'll be able to win the title, whoever it is against, whether it be Lando, who's already got one, who against Max, of course, so we know there's, I think everyone is hoping it will be against Max because it'll be box office for us, or against Charles.
Lewis, you
Lewis
traitor.
as well. Lewis would be very box office as well.
Against Russell, that would be.
That'd be. I
I
haven't even thought about that, but yes, Lewis against.
Well, we could
George
do Ferrari as our 5th one today.
Yeah, we'll do Ferrari afterwards. But I mean, I think it is a given just because at the stage of their careers. I think Kimi has, towards the end of last year, I don't think his first rookie year was as bad as what people made it out to be.
There was flashes.
Yeah, but also the middle part of the year he had a poor run of DNFs with mechanical failures as well, and Mercedes brought him in last year for a reason, to prep him for this season and this set of regulations, because where Lindblad, who we've just talking about, the only rookie this year, is starting afresh, which is a positive, he also has to contend with the whole circus that is F1, everything that comes with it. Kimi has already had a year of that under his belt, so that will benefit him with the F1 circus. But I don't think he is going to be. I think he's personally going to finish a few positions behind George, but I think he'll get multiple podiums. And like Hadjar, I think we'll see him get his first race win this year. But George will come out on top.
Is it fair to say that George Russell is the version of George Russell that George Russell wants to be? Does that make sense? He's manicured his career. He knows where he wants to be. And I think George, he's actually, from a sporting point of view, quite different to a bunch of other drivers. So I do buy into the hype that he is incredibly thoughtful. He's always looking for that extra thing, in the same way that Jenson Button was looking like, where could I zig where everyone zags and get a result? Where could I do something different? And I think his main thing is you have to manage certain things: engine power, fuel, tires. However, I can, if I want to, choose to use all of them up, whether it be burning my tires out, using the fuel to have to fuel save later, or going for a setup that will be better off the line, or a setup that will give me a higher grid position. George Russell is capable, I believe, of management. He chooses very often not to, and that makes him dangerous to a teammate. With that ability and the way that he went after Lewis Hamilton specifically over any other consideration, if Antonelli becomes a threat, he could pivot and go, no, before we conquer the world, we must conquer Antonelli.
Yeah, he is a very meticulous person, and he weighs up the percentages 100%. Like, he knew when he came in against Lewis Hamilton, well, and I would be the same as well. Okay, I'm not in a team right now that is in a position,
therefore,
to win races. Therefore, my only competitor is my teammate, who is, I also believe, is the greatest of all time. So you're trying to beat your hero, someone who is still very widely regarded as the current former champion because of what happened in 21.
Scott,
so
you put those air quotes away, young man.
Okay. But do you know what I mean? Like, so that was his focus. I know people criticize him for it, and we on these channels, on this podcast,
not criticize, observe. Like, we're just counting.
Okay, observe. Yeah. So I think he is someone who would be able to convert a championship. Though, like you, Spanners, I do still have a little question mark about his tyre management. What do you think, Trumpets?
Yeah, that's always been the weakest part of his game. How good has he gotten at it? Well, we're not really in a position to find out. What I like most is the Mr. Consistency meme. Yeah, that's the game you play when you don't have the absolute raw pace. But what I'm going to pose to you as a question is that you've been talking a lot about Russell and his politics and his management of his image. And the vibe that I'm getting here is kind of Alonso-like within the team, in the sense that Alonso is the mentor and the buddy, unless or until the teammate starts to look like they might be challenging him. And that's when the knives come out. And I wonder, will we see this with Russell if Antonelli suddenly starts to get, let's just say it's a fluke, like a Piastri. Okay, not a fluke. Piastri's very good, but he was gifted a car that was really good for him and really bad for Norris. In that same situation. Yeah, I realize fluke could be misinterpreted by Piastri fans. So just to be clear.
Oh, really?
Nothing to do. I mean, frankly, I think breathing could be misinterpreted.
I was going to say the mask slip there, Trumpets.
Do you want a shovel to keep digging?
Oh no! I've got plenty of material to help me with that. Right. Just to finish it off, should the car turn against Russell and advantage Antonelli, and he goes on a bit of a run, what do you think happens at Mercedes at that point behind the scenes? And I just wonder if we won't see a bit of Alonso Samurai come out.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued about that potential reality.
Yeah.
If he ends up pushing him, because we saw last year that Interlagos, George was comfortably beaten by Antonelli. So Antonelli has those performances in him. He scored multiple podiums a couple of podiums last year, comfortably beat him over the course of Interlagos. There are going to be tracks this year where I think Antonelli is quicker than George Russell. But in the context of with George, as we mentioned, with how meticulous he is, if he gets off to a good start and he is clearly that favourite and he's ahead in a championship and Antonelli is ahead of him, he'll weigh up the percentages. I don't think he'll get bogged down by that. But if it's a fair, let's say, yes, Mercedes is as dominant as everyone is predicting they're going to be, and the championship battle is, and it's an a la Alonso Hamilton fight in 2008, I'm so intrigued to see how George handles that, because I do like George. I know people think he's very PR focused. Yes, of course he is. He's very aware of his public perception. And I don't think that's a criticism, especially in today's world. But I'm intrigued to see how he handles that if the young rookie in his second year, Kimi Antonelli winning at 20, I think he's 20 now, or will be 20 this year.
Yeah.
He'd be the youngest world champion ever. But that's to deal with that when you've got George has been in F1 George is that typical, I've done my time. I did 4 years at Williams. I should have maybe been at Mercedes a year or two earlier. And now he's finally got the opportunity to win a world championship. Not that anything is a God-given right, but it's he would. I wonder how he would deal with that. Of like, so now I've got a championship winning car and I've got to fight potentially the youngest ever winning world champion. Like, what the hell?
I love this because in my mind now I'm going, what is the line? Like if I'm Russell and I'm having the season I had last season, and then Antonelli does really well at Brazil. Oh, I'm happy for the kid. He's starting to listen to what we're telling him. Where's the points line? Where's the points line where you go, stop, where you stop thinking I've got this in the bag to thinking, oh, well, actually, maybe I don't. Where is that line points wise? And what happens if we cross it? It's not going to happen.
Boring.
But I love the thought. I love the thought of it. You know, just like, where is that line?
So much.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, regardless of whoever George Russell has to, and we're thinking this is a foregone conclusion. I'm looking forward to whoever George Russell has to fight for a world championship, because we all think Mercedes is going to come out up front.
We got Lewis, we got Max, right? I mean, Antonelli on his own team. I mean, there's 3 different drivers that could really make it dramatic. And this is Russell is the other protagonist.
And this is my point. I'm a positive person, listeners. And while we've never really had it whenever we've head into a new regulation set, at most we've had 2 teams fighting against each other, or 2 drivers from 2 separate teams. There is a part of me that does feel like that, even though I know Mercedes have sandbagged in testing, there is a part of me that makes me think we are going to see a topsy-turvy year, and we are going to see all 4 of the top 4 teams be strong at certain circuits, and this championship be closer than people are thinking it is going to be. That's my hope. That's my positivity. And yeah.
Do you remember when we had different qualifying for like 3 races?
I do.
Okay. I just bring this up because it was really complicated. Nobody understood it. And the reason it got kicked out wasn't because it was worse or better. It was because it made the teams look so bad because they didn't really, they're very smart people. They hadn't really figured out how it worked and they made horrible, horrible mistakes. So to me, in a way, this whole regulation set is kind of like that really complicated qualifying. And you're right, the pendulum could swing wildly between teams depending upon who figures out what at what racetrack on, you know, like whatever stars happen to be in alignment that day. So it could be like that glorious, what do we have, like 7 winners in 8 races, and was it 2012 or something like that? Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
It could be that, or it could really not at all. So I don't want to get people too excited for something that's going to turn out to be not exciting.
Guys, we've only covered 4 teams, right?
No, but I was about to. You ruined my radio.
I know. We don't have time. We're not going to segue.
We are so far. Like, I'm looking. I was going to say
we're going. Are we not? Can we got time for Ferrari? We got time.
No, because I feel like it's a biggie. I feel like Ferrari's big.
You think?
Yeah, and
Hamilton. Oh my gosh, no, that's no drama there.
We're going to need another crew to come in, the non-UK crew, because we are all going karting in Milton Keynes tomorrow. So we won't be able to finish off this predictions. However, we can lean on our non-UK crew. So we need a couple of folks from the likes of Christian, Jules, Christina, Jono to come in and finish this off. We will let them deal with Ferrari. If you want to go another 5 minutes in a teammate battle, why don't we pick someone more like Cadillac?
I was going to say, is there a team that we could cover in less time?
Yes. Yeah, let's do Cadillac for a little bit. So massively biased from me, but I have been looking for this redemption tour for Perez, and I really feel like, knowing everything we know about Red Bull, I feel like those final years of useful career for Perez, because he's now, into his 30s, which for a sportsman is kind of old. I know me and Matt have no foot to stand on. Even you, Scott, you don't have any kind of... Yeah. But, in his 30s, where he was coming into his final last chance, in the same way that Carlos Sainz is now doing that, he was at Force India / Racing Point / Aston Martin. He was sacrificed on the altar of Project Stroll. And we had all those horribly gaslighting comments from Schaffnauer. And then, despite being someone who's had 9 podiums from the midfield, all-time greatest ever journeyman in F1, greatest all-time failed star. He's a super Jupiter in Formula One, and then that final roll of the dice after being rejected from the Stroll project was to go to Red Bull, a top team. That should have been a good decision, and he has now been more vocal about the challenges that he faced there. Sergio Perez never ever had a chance at Red Bull. He also does not have a chance at Cadillac, but in this teammate battle against Valtteri Bottas, who I also really, really like, I just want Perez to come in and do well and curb stomp the very, very nice Valtteri Bottas.
I was going to say, if you got a button there for a small violin, because that's what I was looking for there in that rant, because wow, that went on some time.
No, that was 10 seconds, that rant. Maximum.
Oh, 10?
Yeah, I think
At a
so.
0, maybe. Look, I'm actually really intrigued by this battle, because I don't think anyone, myself included, has any expectations for Cadillac, anything higher than bottom, because of just because we know the challenge it takes to come into modern F1. I mean, end of the day, F1 didn't even want this team to be on the grid. That's how many hurdles they had to
FIA
overcome.
Wanted this team. F1.
Well, FIA then F1 / Liberty Media Formula One Management didn't.
F1 / teams franchise did not want to share the pot.
Yeah, so the hurdles that they've had to overcome to even get here is is brilliant. I mean, I say brilliant, like it's brilliant they're here in the first place, and it is copious amounts, and we don't expect much of them. So the only thing we can kind of look forward to at this moment in time, before the season has even got underway, is the inter-team battle between Bottas and Perez, who has a lot. Both of them equally have a lot of fan backing. I personally think, I don't know, history tells me that Bottas is a better driver than Perez. However, why I say it's an intriguing battle is because Perez was also a very, very good midfield driver. He knew how to get results.
He was peaky.
From a midfield team. He was that driver. I don't even say peaky. When I think about Perez before he moved to Red Bull, he was the tyre whisperer. He would take tyres, he'd do that massive overcut, and he would get a ridiculous amount of positions gained because he could take tyres forever. And that's what I remember from Perez in the midfield. And obviously, Red Bull, people recency bias think about his career at Red Bull, and we know obviously more about the info of his time there. But as a midfield car and running towards more of the rear, he was synonymous with being able to get. The reason he got that Red Bull seat was because he was synonymous with how to get results out of a car that didn't deserve finishing 6th, 5th, or 4th. And he did that multitude amount of times. So I'm really intrigued for this battle because I rate Bottas more highly, but I know what Perez is capable of.
It's culturally insensitive that us as Brits, with our British F1 privilege, have ranted about Cadillac for the last 10 minutes, and Matt has not got a word in edgewise, which I'm fine with. No, Matt.
That's fine. That was actually pretty good.
It was pretty funny.
That was like the best one tonight. I will hand that to you. Okay, so I like this actually because Scott brought up a very interesting and intriguing point that plays into my general theory about tire management and energy management. Perez really could, back in the day, manage tires well. And that might set him up to be quite successful against Bottas, who was always fast. On occasion could make Lewis actually look over his shoulder. Oh, right. Yeah, you're still there. But could never got to the point of being able to have the consistency necessary in the era where they were on Mercedes together to manage the tires in the same way. So I think, you might have a real shot at Perez slowly being the larger point scorer. But what I really look forward to is the battle of their social medias. Because there's no one with more fans than Perez, and Bottas has millions of people who love him.
So Matt, you made that point about the points being different. So if we're talking about a battle between the Cadillac drivers, we're probably talking about who gets that miracle result, who gets that Jules Bianchi at Monaco 1 point kind of result. And I genuinely think, even if Bottas beats Perez 15 races out of 20, it's 24 now, isn't it? 17 races out of 24, the Perez results might be that one where he does that massive overcut, does some incredible thing with a stint, and ends up picking up P6, P7.
Yeah, no, and you're right. Again, if you're just going to look at points, it will be a lottery ticket, either direction. But if we look at race finishes, and that's really where that's where you want to look over the whole season, the race finishes, not just the points. Somebody might have a peak, ridiculous high, but if out of the 24 races, skip the sprints for the moment, out of the 24 races, if I finish ahead of you 16 to whatever, 8, then I think I've done a better job.
I just want to touch on the team as a whole, just kind of moving away from just Bottas and Perez, but I'm really intrigued to see their progression this year, Cadillac, because I've watched, like many listeners, you've probably tuned in to many predictions on social media, whether it be YouTube, listening to the podcasts and so forth. And everyone, I can guarantee, has put the Cadillac last, just because we have no expectations for them. So the only way for them is up. I'm super intrigued to see a team in this current era of F1 because the last new team we had was Haas, and they got off to a very good start in 2015. I think was when they were joined.
Yeah.
So it's not while all of us are putting Cadillac towards the bottom, it's not unreasonable for them to mix it in the midfield.
No, but I just think that their bar for success is lower. If Cadillac finished 9th, we'll all be going, wow, well done, Cadillac.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's just because of we're realistic. We're realistic, but we all hope the best for them. I mean, I think it's brilliant we've got 11 teams on the grid now, and I really want them to do well, and I hope they do. But I'm just super intrigued to see how they get on, and I just hope Bottas and Perez can get the most out of that car, and the experience, which clearly they've banked on, will benefit them with the development throughout this season.
That voice you just heard is Scott Stuffey. Now, he is not just a thirst trap for Missed Apex podcast. He does great live watch-alongs. If you want to watch the F1 races, but you want an alternative commentary, you must tune into Scott's channel. He has 18 billion subscribers. The link will be in the show notes below. But honestly, it has now got to the point that Scott does not need our help. But you should just benefit from the fantastic community that he has gained there. Is there any chance that you will stop doing that this season so that we can steal that idea?
No chance whatsoever. I will be up at an ungodly hour for the Australian Grand Prix, covering all sessions, practice, qualifying, and the race on Sunday, and every single race throughout this season. So yes, show notes in the show notes below. You can find me. Link is there. So thank you, Spanish, for the kind words.
Well, no, Matt and I will join in any practice session that you invite us to.
Absolutely.
Yes. I will definitely invite you this time around. I'm trying to be a little bit more organized because I'm still juggling things around a full-time day job.
And a family as well. Yeah.
And a family as well. So, a lot of juggling happening. So hopefully I'll get you involved at some point this season.
Yep. And just so you know, like Scott is very much like Missed Apex. He's promoting Missed Apex on his streams as well. So don't feel like he's leeching off our 10 years of dedication to this sport.
Missed Apex is my podcast. If you ask me if I do a podcast,
nice.
Missed Apex is it.
Well, because we live F1. Matt Trumpets is available on every social media platform at MattPT55. I don't know why you guys don't follow him as much as you follow me. That's a lie. I do know. It's because I'm the best one. Follow me. Spanner's ready. I am focusing on Twitter, X, and Blue Sky, but I'm doing more Instagram stuff, so follow me, all of those at Spanners Ready, at Missed Apex F1 on YouTube Shorts and on TikTok. We think that we need more for these predictions, so we will stand up a crew, a non-UK crew, to do a show, to do the final 5 teams, and we will also do a Things We Learned from Drive to Survive on Sunday. We're also going to be recording a quiz we'll try and record a quiz that we're going to be doing at our karting event. And Scott, we did 6.
No, I'm saying there's 6 left.
Yes, because 11 teams.
We covered 5.
Oh, wow. So I fell at the first hurdle of the game of remember that there is now 11 teams. Well, okay, so the non-UK team have their work cut out. Until next time, work hard, be kind, and have fun. This was Missed Apex Podcast, and Matt Trumpets is in my house and has brought whiskey. Pray for my soul.